Hey, Whistle Pig Digging here with you. First video we showed a lot of finds and a couple of small digs, different things like that. This video I thought I'd step back and maybe do a beginning to now. Like I said, is in the beginning, out of all the equipment you see laying here happens to be the Ace 250. The Ace 250 was bought in a hobby shop a couple of years ago. Just walking in, messing around a little bit that day and seeing what all was there. The Ace 250, of course, doesn't have the ID number on it or anything like a ground balance, but it's a good basic starting metal detector. I need to stop on the detectors at the moment because even with the Garrett 250 or the AT Pro or even the Apex, there's other tools that you will really need if you get into this hobby and get serious with it, that is going to make your life so simple. And I will show you one of those tools that really helped me out greatly. It's one of the most important tools that I found out in my short career of this hobby has to be the pinpointer. And it comes down to the detector will find it and locate it, but the pinpoint will show you where it's at. So when you find it with your detector and you dig into the ground and make a plug or a hole and you're hunting, and then pick your pinpointer up, turn it on, and it will actually show you your target that you are looking for. And learned this the hard way by doing what I thought was called ghost hits or ghost targets. As you go over it with your detector and have a beep and dig the hole, and without a pinpointer, stand there with handfuls of dirt running it back over your coil trying to find it. And it can get frustrating at times, but once you learn that the pinpointer is one of your most valuable resources in the hobby, trust me, by all means. We've hit a little bit on detectors and hit a little bit on pinpointers. I guess one of the next major tools, or probably one of the major tools that you really need to consider, is how are we going to dig our targets up? And you go into different digging tools. I wouldn't suggest a plastic hand digger in red clay dirt. I just don't think it would be too efficient. I mean, not saying you couldn't do it. It could be possible. And then once you have a hole and you're actually looking down in the hole trying to find your target, safety, 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 they say. Pair of gloves is always recommended. If you watch a video, I think Wiggs got one on YouTube where he's digging on the beach, digs down, catches his hand or finger on a can, kind of opens him up pretty bad. So always remember, when you're sticking your hand down in there in that hole that you just dug, you don't know whether it's a broke piece of aluminum or a gold coin. So just be careful when you're digging out there. So in the beginning was the 250, and the stepping up from it was a good friend of mine who'd been in the hobby for a while and had an F5 sitting around that he wasn't using, made an offer with a pinpointer to go with it, ended up buying it, ended up taking the 250 back through some of the places I'd done hunted with the 250. And yeah, it picked up a few more things, probably because it's supposed to. It's a little bit more expensive, a few more options on it. And one of the things that I talked about was the target ID. And if you'll notice, I'll pick 250 up here and show you when you turn it on that if you run over an object, that it'll give you a place up there on the screen versus when you take the F5 and turn the F5 on, which shows a few more features, a few more things, the ground balances on it, stuff that I've still not learned a lot about, but I'm learning every day in this hobby. When it rolls over, it gives actual ID number and gives you a better idea of what's in the ground, better targeting, so you're not digging more trash than you are good targets, so you're not wasting energy on the digs. hobby for almost a year, we've ended up with the Garrett H250. We ended up buying a Fisher F5 off our buddy, ended up with a pinpointer, got a little spaded shovel, nice little hand digger. We're out there finding all kinds of things. We started going to public parks, we started going to playgrounds, started digging things and finding some unusual, strange, fun things. But then got to thinking about properties that might have water on it. What happens if I drop one of these two detectors in water? So I went out and done a little research, and you can see by the big cool at the bottom of it, you starting out with Garrett, probably stay with the company that you started with, and ended up going out and buying the AT Pro. Garrett's AT Pros was bought due to the waterproofness of it. It's supposed to go to 10 feet. So I'm looking at maybe a permission later on down the road that has a pretty good sized creek bake on it. And hopefully we'll have videos coming from that dig if I ever get permission from the owners of that one. That'll be a very nice place to go dig. There's supposed to have been a late 1800s house on the property. So that's the reason the AT Pro become part of the arsenal, is to make sure I had one that could go completely underwater and not ruin the detector. So that's where we was going to stop at. Ace Apex kind of completed the arsenal for me. There probably won't not be any more buys in the near future. I'm not saying that I will not buy another detector. I'm more looking into putting different coils on different things. I'm looking to maybe go to the AT Pro and buy one of the bigger 12 by 13s or something like that on the AT Pro to see if it'll get the depth I'm looking for, something like that. Just remember, it's all in what you put into it. If you want to get into the hobby and then stay with something like the Garrett 250, that's fine. There's not a problem with that. There's not a problem. I'll hunt with anybody that has a detector that enjoys the hobby, and that's what it's all about. It's about getting out and enjoying yourself. Beginning to now in whistle pig digging. I hope you found this a little bit informational. I hope it helps somebody. I hope if you're a new beginner in the hobby that you can get something out of this. Just remember to go out and have a good time, enjoy the outdoors, and enjoy the people that you're with. And until the next video, until the next dig, be safe out there.